Matt from the Trade Brigade here doing a technical analysis on ticker symbol NVDA for NVIDIA Corp. On the left-hand side, we have the daily time frame, and on the right-hand side, the 30-minute intraday time frame. First things first, this will of course be an update. We talk about the stock almost every day here on the channel. The main thing I want to point out is the continued indecision here inside of this range. Remember that we talked about the inside bar that printed on the Tuesday session here, right at the 200 SMA. Well, we sort of broke out of the two-day range up and over the outside bar high, but obviously with Jerome Powell's sort of conference into the afternoon, right back down underneath. So you can start to think of that as a little bit of a failed breakout from the buyers, and we're still just chopping around in kind of indecision land, to be quite frank with you. The one thing I would point out is that we are continuously getting higher lows, which is a little bit noteworthy. It's not like, all of a sudden we've reversed the trend here, but it's the beginnings, right, at least of starting to take steps in the right direction. And do also remember that this is happening above our daily 200 SMA. In terms of levels to be watching out for, again, today's fake break is going to complicate things a little bit. We now have a level up there. Let's just take a look at the 30-minute time frame and sort of discuss how things are unfolding. So yes, on the 30-minute time frame, you can start to see that we're starting to build a little bit of an upward channel here, but don't forget, we're not out of the woods from the daily, right? The daily is always going to overpower whatever is going on the 30-minute until the 30-minute changes what's happening on the daily. I know that might sound like a little bit of a, who's leading who, but, trend changes start on smaller time frames and then they eventually work their way to higher time frames. But if the smaller time frame trend, let's just say that this channel keeps working out and then it rolls over at 250, then obviously that's the daily downtrend in place, just cementing yet again another lower high, and we should continue on our merry way to the downside from the daily. That's all I'm sort of getting at there. Maybe that's more of a learning lesson than analysis, specifically to this chart, but you get the gist, right? So on the 30-minute, this is what we have to watch out for, especially scalpers, short-term traders. This is really, all it's going to boil down to. Does this hold, today's pullback low, hold as a higher low? If it does, then fine. Look for the next potential higher high. Again, that complicating factor, today's high that's a fake breakout, up towards 240, 238-ish area. I would start to focus on 238 really because we couldn't get a candle close up above that on the 30-minute. So for me, that could potentially lead to a breakout here, and that's your higher high into the 250 range, which we discussed on the daily, right? So that's how it would unfold to the upside if this area here, 225, 226, holds as a higher low. If it breaks and we start setting equal lows here, then I would start to think about this as a potential scenario where this turns into a head and shoulders. That's your neckline, and it breaks down to get us into Monday's low. Also the dominant daily support trend line, which we haven't tested in quite some time. If we were to come into that, maybe it's a buy, maybe. I'm not entirely sure. I'd have to see the context of how it unfolds from the daily. If we were to get a hammer at that with maybe a fake wick down underneath, indicating a fake breakdown of 207, long up and over the high wouldn't be totally unrealistic to me as a potential setup. So that's what I've got for you inside of NVIDIA for now. 30-minute uptrend is in place, needs to hold the higher low. Otherwise, it's very likely we roll over for an equal low closer to 207. That's what I've got for you. If you enjoyed the video or learned anything new, let me know in the comments section or by giving the video a thumbs up. Don't forget our main channel is linked in the description. And all of that being said, I wish you a green trading week.